morning. Welcome to our live on Sunday. Today, I'm answering your question about the push through and whether or not it includes extension. And I think this is a really cool question to talk about. There's the exercise that Joe gave us, and then there's exercise that people have evolved. And it can get confusing, like, what are we doing here? And so I'm excited to dive into this more, answer all of your questions you put in the comments on our Sunday lives at 9 a.m. But if you're an OPC member, you can ask them in our community through our app. And you can also send a video of you doing the exercise and I can provide feedback. So if you're wondering about your push through and if you're getting all the good stuff out of it, you can actually submit that video and get personalized feedback from me, which is really a lot of fun, which I'd be an OPC member. Also coming up very, very soon, I want to tell you about is the early bird for the spring training for OPC. We're gonna have a week of live classes. So if you've liked the workouts here on this channel, you'll notice we're not adding any new ones right now, but we are gonna do a week of live classes, 10 classes if you have access to equipment, 3 if you have access to the mat, and you can go to opc.me/events to get on the wait list and or get your spot in spring training. We're so excited about it because we get to do live classes with you. We get to answer your questions there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And oh, it did. Early bird open today. There you go. I'm glad you're here live. So make sure you check that out, opc.me/events. And if you're watching this later on, just know that that link will always take you to future events we're doing at OPC you don't want to miss out on. So let's talk about the push through bar and the push through specifically. So push through is an excellent place to challenge your ability to round your back with feedback. Okay, so spine stretch forward, the roll up, they're very similar to the push through. You've got both of them in here. But if you are wanting to get more out of those, the push through is really going to show you where you have work to do. So your feet are on these poles, which means if they leave the poles, you slid away, right? If you slid away, it means you're probably rounding from not your back, but from somewhere else in your body to make the shape of the body, right? Your hands are wrapped around. Always make sure your thumb is wrapped around the push through. I see people put their thumb with their fingers here. It's so easy for your hand to slip. Do not do that. Safety is thumb around. The other thing that people do is they bend their wrists or their elbows. If you bend your wrists or your elbows, that means you're not bending your back. So does the push through have extension? Not here. Not here. This is round, and I'm working my feet into the poles, and I'm using this bar with a spring to kind of push my stomach back in opposition. Then I'm going to round back, and then right here is where a lot of people cut their chest forward and then do an extension, but that's not the exercise. The exercise is round through to a tall back. How much can I push my legs into the mat while lifting my ribs up into my hands? So we're not doing this. And by the way, this isn't even extension of the spine. I'm overdoing it. I'm hanging off my shoulders and shoving my hips forward. And in Pilates, we want to actually, if we're doing extension, it's the upper back, which is not happening here. So it's round and round. Now, are there people that teach this with an extension? Maybe, probably. Does that mean they're wrong? Not if the extension is where it's supposed to be from, but if they're hanging off joints, then I would say it's not what we want to do in Pilates. In Pilates, we never hang off of our joints, right? We're using the tools we have to get the longest shape in our spine. We've done a video here on this channel about the 5 spine shapes. I think it just released recently. So it's always the longest round, the longest tall, the longest twist, the longest side bend, the longest extension. So in extension, it's about that upper back extending, not by shoving the lower back forward to do so, but by literally extending the upper back. And it's hard to do. This is not the place to do it. If you want to practice your extension somewhere, I would do it with the swan. There's actually an exercise I'm not going to show you today, but you can see it on our channel for free. You actually use this push through bar with or without a spring that can help teach extension. But push through, this is where I could see if a client or one of our members is moving from their limbs or moving from their center. If you're moving from your limbs, you're going to bend your wrist, you're going to lose the spine shape and you're going to shove, right? Or if they're bending from their center, I make enough space for this bar to have space to move with my arms connected to my center. Such a good exercise. You can do it with one arm as well, because you might actually notice that there's an arm that's doing more of the work than the other. You can also take the spring off and do it without a spring. If you have a metal bar, it doesn't have the same feedback as a wood one because the wood ones have a lot of weight to them, but you can still do it. And these are all included in the Cadillac deck, Tower Cadillac deck of our flashcards. So if you want to explore more and see how these exercises work together. In that Cadillac deck, we talk about other exercises on the Cadillac and Tower that work with the push through. And then we also have reformer and mat related exercise. You can see how the system works together. But I love this question because I do think it's worth exploring. Like, is there extension in it? And it's a tall and a round. And it's hard enough with a tall and a round. I think, I love when people get creative. I think creativity is an amazing thing, but I also think like, what is the point of this exercise? And the point of this exercise is to get people out of their hip flexors and to have a tall back without the spring, and also to provide that feedback of where we're rounding from and how the arms can move from the body. So it really does reveal where you have work to do, and can also teach the feelings you need to have. Like on your spine stretch forward, what does pulling your waist back feel like? Well, that spring is pushing against you, you're going to feel it. So I think that this is just a really fun thing to explore. It's considered a beginner exercise, but I think it's just I think it's because it, it's something you have to do your whole life to kind of really see how much can I juice out of this. And I would challenge you, if you truly think you're an advanced practitioner in Pilates, push through should feel hard. It's something that I'm constantly getting more and more and more out of, and I find to be really, really nice. I don't use it as my warm up. I use the rollback bar for that, but I do find this to be a really good reveal of like where am I working from in my body that day. So thank you for sending this question in. It's a lot of fun. I do hope you join us for spring training. We will have tower classes as well as mat, reformer, and wind to chair. Any questions, Brad, from our amazing people? Okay, well, be faster with your typing, guys, because this live is a quickie today, but I so appreciate you, your curiosity, your wonder. And if you would like me to look at your push through to see if you're getting the most out of it, make sure you join OPC at onlinepilatesclasses.com/YouTube. We drop a new tower class every single month, and you can submit any exercise on the tower that you're wondering if you're doing right, or any piece of equipment for that matter, and get my personalized feedback on what setup you should do, what changes you should make, how you should make it for you, because that's the thing. Pilates is a personal practice. Thank you so much and have an amazing day.